What is going on, FUD Nation? Look, I know it has been a while since my last episode. I was on a long and much needed vacation, and then I came back and I've been moving. All my stuff is in boxes. I'm going to be completing my move today, and I also had some family things come up. So although I really wanted to keep the content coming over the last couple of weeks, I couldn't manage it with all the things I had on my plate, so I apologize. But we're going to get into it today. There's a lot of news to catch up on, and we have to start with the first and foremost topic of conversation here in the crypto sphere, which is the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. Right now, the Bitcoin Cash community is facing a proverbial and very real fork in the road. If you've been following, you know that there are two competing proposals for the future of Bitcoin Cash. One is led by the Bitcoin ABC team, the original Bitcoin Cash team, which is really associated with Roger Ver, the sort of standard bearer of Bitcoin Cash, and the other is being associated with Craig S. Wright, and he's calling his version of the Bitcoin Cash fork Satoshi's Vision. Now, these two forks have plenty of differences, which we're not going to go into granular detail about, but what you do need to know is that at some point, one of these forks will take the majority of the nodes, which might take days or weeks to really determine. Now, once that happens, they will of course become the dominant Bitcoin Cash fork, and the other fork, while it might continue to exist, will not be Bitcoin Cash, it will be something else. So obviously what we've seen here is over the last few days, a huge spike in Bitcoin Cash's price. And you may be wondering, why is that happening? Now, for most of us, if you're not trying to really actively seize upon this moment in time to make profits, this probably won't make much of a difference to you. You just leave your Bitcoin Cash in your ledger or wherever, you keep it if you're hodling it, and you can go access it once all this mess is behind us. However, if you're being a little bit more opportunistic, you'll find that there are some exchanges that will be supporting both or either of the forks, meaning if you're just going to wait this out and you're just going to wait to see which dominant fork wins and then that you're going to hold that Bitcoin Cash, that's fine. You can do that. If you want to go ahead and in the intermediary time have both new Bitcoin Cashes and maybe sell one or trade one or leverage one or mess around and try to make profits with your two different types of coins, you could probably do that. As for at least a few moments or days or maybe even weeks, there might be some confusion and debate as to which one is going to be the dominant fork, thereby giving value to both of them. In essence, this could be looked at as kind of like the original Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash fork for some people in some context, as you might be able to actually take two coins that have essentially two Bitcoin Cashes of value. So people who are opportunistic are trying to get as much Bitcoin Cash as they can, driving up the price of Bitcoin Cash, and of course, maybe with the intention of trying to sell part or all of that Bitcoin Cash during this fiasco. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, though it seems as though with Coinbase supporting the Bitcoin ABC proposal and Binance supporting the Bitcoin ABC proposal, you could even think of this as Bitcoin Cash Core or the original Bitcoin Cash proposal. This is the Roger Ver team, this sort of old school Bitcoin Cash team that's been really running the show since the beginning. The only real fracture off from that is Craig S. Wright, who's really known to walk his own path in the crypto sphere and in life. Honestly, smart money is betting on the Bitcoin ABC proposal to be the dominant chain and to take over with relative certainty. However, no one really knows. In fact, there's an even third option, which is Bitcoin Unlimited, which has allowed for miners and nodes to really run any selection of the changes. They can actually vote to adopt any of the changes or none of the changes and go on with Bitcoin Cash in its current form. This kind of gives miners the ultimate say over exactly what they want to be voted into the chain. Regardless, we have many different competing proposals and possibilities, though as I said, smart money is on the Bitcoin ABC proposal to sort of go with the flow and follow the plan of the Bitcoin Cash evolution that's proposed on bitcoincash.org. Just a note of caution, if you're keeping your coins on a ledger device, they will not be supporting transactions. So if you need access to your Bitcoin Cash, you have to move your Bitcoin Cash off of a ledger. In the meantime, if you really want to do transactions, if you're not worried about it, you're just hodling, you want to wait this out, you can keep your Bitcoin Cash on your ledger, as in the future, after days or weeks or whatever, however long this sort of period of uncertainty lasts, they will be disabling Bitcoin Cash transactions, but then they will re-enable them. You don't have to do anything if you're just hodling. Just keep your coins on your ledger if you're just going to hodl them. But if you want to play around and make transactions or move them to exchanges or do whatever you're going to do, then you got to get them off your ledger. The proposed hard fork is set to take place on November 15th. There's a new monitoring tool as well that will help you keep track of this that has been proposed and sort of introduced by the BitMex team. So if you go to forkmonitor.info, you can check out that monitoring tool. So big thanks, I guess, to the BitMex team for producing a good monitoring tool that will not end here with the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, but will be useful beyond it for other hard forks and other situations similar to this. Now let's go over a bunch of news that I wasn't able to cover in my travels and while I was moving. So here we go. We're going to launch in rapid fire, get through a bunch of news right now. Rapper T.I. is being sued in association with his promotion of an ICO called the Flick token. Obviously, rappers, celebrities, don't go out there and promote ICOs. If you don't understand what you're doing, you're not tech people here. You're not ICO experts. You're not securities experts. Just stay out of this game. Just stay out of it, okay? Stay out of it. Keep yourself safe. We also have word that Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss are suing Charlie Shrem, who's an early Bitcoin adopter who actually went to prison for money laundering. At any rate, they're alleging that Charlie Shrem had defrauded them by essentially, when they were originally buying Bitcoins back in 2012, they gave money to Charlie Shrem to go acquire Bitcoin. And they're saying that Charlie Shrem actually came back with about 5,000 Bitcoin less than he should have come back with. And essentially, as Charlie Shrem got out of prison, supposedly broke, bought a bunch of power boats, a couple Maseratis, a $2 million home. And they're saying, how could he have possibly afforded this, $5-10 million spend if he didn't have any money being stashed away from those Bitcoins? They're believing that all of these expenditures have been a product of the maturation of those 5,000 Bitcoin, which is now worth in excess of $32 million. So obviously, if that's true and Charlie Shrem did actually take these Bitcoin, which it kind of sounds like he must have if he got out of prison and immediately spent $5 million, then he's going to have a lot to answer for. A judge has already frozen a bit of Charlie Shrem's assets in the process. I know there's a part of you that feels like, why should the Winklevoss twins care? They're already so made off their billions in Bitcoin and amazing investments across the space. They're doing such big things. But again, you can't steal $32 million from someone and have them not notice. I know at the time it was more like $50,000, $60,000, but now it's more like 32 million, Charlie. We also have major Coinbase news. They might be listing up to 300 tokens via Coinbase Pro. And then there's also the news that they just raised another $300 million off a Series E round led by Tiger Global Management. So we just know that Coinbase is making such big moves. They have so much capital. They did a $500 million round just a few months ago. Now they did a $300 million round. That means they have about $800 million. They probably spent quite a bit of it. They have $800 million in liquidity just off raising on their valuation, which is now over $8 billion. So they sold, if you're good at math, about 10% of their company. Really, they're just preparing to take on the next phase of crypto, which we can only assume for Coinbase means a lot of projects. They've got, 400 or 500 employees. They keep hiring at a feverish pace and expanding. I know people don't really love Coinbase, but at the same time, they're providing a lot of legitimate on-ramps from fiat to crypto, and you just have to respect to a certain degree what they're doing and what they've allowed for in the space and the sort of what they've allowed for the retail investor. They're trying to allow for really anyone to get their hands on crypto. I think they have a little bit of a negative reputation where maybe it's not so warranted, when if you look at from a larger scope what they've allowed for people to do, they've never been hacked. But I totally understand. You guys let me know, do you guys hate Coinbase? Do you love Coinbase? Do you respect what they've done? Do you totally not care what they've done? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm curious. I haven't gotten to interact with you guys in a while. Let's start the Coinbase thread in the comment section below. And of course, there is the FUD. Let's get to some of the FUD. We know that the FUD, first of all, came out about Bitcoin being an energy sucker. And of course, we know that Bitcoin, if it was compared and was doing as many transactions as Visa at its current sort of rate of mining and its electricity consumption, its electricity efficiency, it would be extremely inefficient. But nobody, I think, thinks that Bitcoin is going to go forth and have transactions at scale with its current infrastructure. We're looking to things like the Lightning Network and also payment rails like we know Stellar Lumens and XRP and other different forms of payments. So I don't think Bitcoin is really going to be used, at least in the near term, as the new Visa. I think we're looking at it through the wrong lens if we're looking at it that way. No doubt Bitcoin is using a lot of electricity, but to blame it for the 2-degree change that will be catastrophic for the Earth's temperature rise, I think is absolutely asinine. I don't think that's fair. It's like saying you're going to blame the straw that breaks the camel's back for all of the weight that breaks the camel's back. You can't blame the straw for breaking the camel's back. It's all the weight before that straw that breaks the camel's back. Anyway, I'm a big environmentalist personally, so I hope that we can work out and sort of come to a compromise, find a way to do mining that's less energy inefficient. So I do see the argument, but at the same time, I don't think it's valid because I don't think this form of mining is just going to explode and continue to grow the way it has. I think that Bitcoin mining will become a lot more energy efficient. And of course, payment systems within the blockchain network won't rely solely on Bitcoin. It'll be Lightning Network and other types of payment rails as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's my 2 cents on this FUD. We also have the FUD that Rand Nooner has retracted his 50K Bitcoin in 2018 statement. Of course, we all know that the market conditions have been atrocious. There's been no growth. Volatility is at all-time lows. That's not good for Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs volatility. It shows that there's arguments in price. At any rate, as we get more stable, we can look to hopefully having another jump-off point. Bitcoin, as it becomes more stable, can become a better, more reliable medium of exchange. So there are some benefits, but of course, we're looking for a lot more energy in the market if we're going to see any kind of dynamic jumps over 10K, over 20K, anything like that. And I have to agree that at this point, 50K looks very, very wishful for a target for Bitcoin. We also have the so-called godfather of ETFs saying that Bitcoin ETF is not going to happen anytime soon. Now, personally, I've covered on this channel many times that February is the earliest we can look to have the Bitcoin ETF approved. And this, of course, just comes down to how many delays that they have left in the tank. I personally like the Van Eyck and Solidex option, though it's hard to say whether that's going to get approved outright. Obviously, without the SEC decision, it's very unlikely that we're going to get anything in the form of an ETF. We need the government behind this. At this time, it's looking like that is a toss-up. And of course, we've seen, although the SEC is getting more pro-Bitcoin, we just haven't had that kind of a monumental decision brought down yet. We'll have to wait and see, hopefully in February, but it's quite possible it could take longer. And to that effect, we have Arthur Hayes of BitMex saying that he believes that the bear market could last for 12 to 18 months. What do you guys think? Is this the new 2013 to 2015 bear market? Is that what we're in, a 2-year cycle bear market? Is this the same as it was before? Is this going to happen quicker? Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, we'll all be hodling and wait. I'm just curious, what is the sentiment right now in the community? I know I feel like we could be strapped in for a very long bear market. I'm ready for any scenario. I'm obviously a long-term hodler. I'm just curious what you guys think. Is this a short-term bear market? Are we going to see signs of volatility? Is BACT going to be a catalyst? Is the ETF going to bring us out of it? Or are all these things just going to work together to sort of slowly lift us out of this downtrend or this sideways trend and eventually create more excitement and liquidity in the market? Let me know what you guys think. Well, that's it for me. Just a rapid fire FUD TV episode. I hope you guys liked it. I'm back. There's a lot of updates coming out that I'm excited to give to you guys in the very near future. Somebody asked if I had succumbed to the FUD. I never succumbed to the FUD. We're here to fight the FUD. That's what this channel is all about. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, smash up those likes, leave me a comment. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to hit that sub button and click that little bell notification. That way you're made aware whenever I put out new content. I'm Elio Trades, you're watching FUD TV, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.